All right, so today we're going to be building a CRM that's going to help you to manage the outreach to your community members. Whether you have a school community, a high-level community, a circle community, the platform really doesn't matter. A CRM that we're going to build for you today is going to help you to stay on top of following up with your members so that you can stay organized and you don't let any of that outreach fall through the cracks, because it's a pretty important piece of the business. So this system is also going to help you not only help you ascend leads and community members up your value ladder from a lead to a member to a high ticket client if you have that part of your business, but it's also going to help you to increase engagement in your community. It's also going to help you to reduce churn. I'll do a quick demo of the finished product and then we'll actually build it from scratch. So what you're looking at here is our full community OS system. So this is our full community operation system that we actually build out for clients. This lead table here is basically where we track all of the people moving through our sales pipeline, from a lead to a free community member to a paid community member to ultimately a high ticket client, because we have high ticket off. For this video, we're just going to focus on building out a CRM that's going to help you to manage the outreach to your free and your paid community members. But this is what the full build would look like. Everything we're doing also rolls up to this sales analytics table here, so we can actually track the health of our community. We can see how many new leads we're bringing in each month. We can see how many free members we're bringing in each month. We can see how many paid members or how many free members are being converted to paid members. Plus, we can also track our churned members and our churn rate. We can track our sales calls and how those perform, so we can see how many people showed up, how many people we offered to, and how many people we closed. We can track our clients and we can track our income. So if you're interested in checking out that community OS and getting a demo, I'll drop a link so you can actually book a demo call. But now let's go ahead and let's actually go through the Skool CRM or the community CRM that we're going to be setting up today. All right, so what you're looking at here is an Airtable base. You can think of an Airtable base as like a spreadsheet on steroids. And so inside of a base, you can create what are called tables. Okay, so these are these little tabs up here at the top. Think of a table as like a tab or a sheet in a Google Sheet that it sits at the bottom of that spreadsheet. Inside of a table, you can have views. So what you can do with views is you can kind of slice and dice the data by filtering that data to really look at that data in any way you want to. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to build out this table and we're going to build out these different views. We want to start with one of the views that has all of our fields and all of our data without hiding any of the fields and without any filters on it. So once we can build out that, we can just duplicate that one view and we can add different filters on top of that to look at that data in a different way. First of all, I'm going to change the name. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to call this Skool CRM. So that's the name of our base. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create a new table. So I'll click add or import, and then we're going to start from scratch. Then we're going to call this our Skool CRM, and then we'll start to build this thing. So now we have our base table. We don't have anything in it yet. What we want to do is now we want to create a view that has all of our data and all of our fields in it. So I'm going to click this drop down here. I'm going to call this all data and fields. And then we'll start to create all of our fields here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to delete this status. We don't need that in there. So I'm just going to delete that field. We're going to keep name, and that's going to be a single line text field. We're going to keep notes. That's going to be a long text field. I'm going to go ahead and toggle on this enable rich data text formatting so that we can kind of add bullet points, bolding, that kind of stuff. And click save. And then the assignee, we're going to keep that one. And that is going to be a user field. So we can actually assign people that are team members in our Airtable to this particular record or this contact. So now let's start to add our different fields. So the first thing that we're going to add is going to be a date field. And we're going to call this date added to free community. And then I'm going to duplicate that. And I'm going to call this date added to paid community. I'm going to click save. And then we're going to add the prospect stage next. So this is going to be a single select. We're going to call this prospect stage. Lead, free community, paid community, churn, client. So we're not going to use all these prospect stages today, but you can have those in there. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a new single select stage. This is going to be temperature, cold, and then we're going to do warm, we're going to do hot. We're going to do member needs check-in for the people that are premium members that maybe they are not showing up for coaching calls. We need to do a check-in. members unhappy, member churned, and then we've got do not contact. Now let's set up our next field, which is going to be our level. So this is the gamification level they're at. So let's use single select. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for all the levels in our community. The next thing is going to be our follow-up date. So this is going to be a date field, and we're going to call that follow-up date, which will tell us when we need to follow up with this person. We're going to do a URL. So this is going to be the direct link to this person's profile inside the community. So we can just go right to their account and send them a message. We're going to add the email address. So this is going to be a single line text. Very important that you just use single line text for the email so that it shows up in the Zapier automation, which we're going to set up a little bit later. Now I want to reconfigure these a little bit. I'm going to move this assignee all the way to the end. I'm going to move notes behind the level here, actually. Then we're going to use the follow-up date, move that up here. So now we have all of our data in all of our fields. We always want one of our views to be all data in all fields so that we can troubleshoot any problems if we need to. From there, we can start to duplicate this and we can start to add filters in, view our data in different ways. So I'm going to duplicate this. The first one we're going to create is going to be our overdue leads. Come in here and add a filter where the follow-up date is before today. I'm just going to duplicate that now. This is due today. Then I'll just change the follow-up date is today. Let me change this, rename this, so due today. Then the next one we're going to do is going to be our people that are in jeopardy. So I'm going to duplicate this, and then we're going to say, call this in jeopardy. Filter for this one is going to be where the temperature is any of member needs check-in and member is unhappy. So these are the people in the prospect stage is paid community. So these are the people in our paid community that we want to keep from churning. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to have a view for our hot prospect that are primed and ready to be upsold into the paid membership. This is going to be the prospect stage is going to be free community. And the temperature is going to be either hot or warm. A couple of views that are just going to have all of our free members in there and then all of our paid members in there. So I'm going to do free members, and we're going to add the filter to be prospect stage is free community. And then we can just duplicate that. And then that's going to be our paid members. And we just simply change the prospect stage to paid community. Final one, we can have a view for churned members. So let's do churned members. And again, this is just going to be the prospect stage is churn. Reorganize these a little bit. So I'm going to have the all data in all fields at the bottom. I'm going to have the overdue at the top. I'm going to have the due today right below that. I'm going to have the in jeopardy after that, hot free members here. All right, so let's add some data in here and let's walk you through how I would manage this process once we start getting members into this CRM system. So let's go ahead. I'm going to add a bunch of records in here. I'm going to add, let's say 10 records, and then we'll add some dummy data in here and we'll show you how to manage it. All right, so half of these are going to be free members. So they were added back in June. Half of them are going to be paid members. They were also added back in June. Let's do prospect stage. So half of them are free community people. Half of them are paid community people. And then their temperature, cold one, a couple of warm ones, a couple of hot ones. Most of these are going to be warm, one that needs check-in, one that's unhappy, one that needs check-in. Level, so this is going to be if they're cold, they're probably a 1. If they're warm, they're probably maybe 3. If they're hot, maybe they're 4, and then this one's a 5. Warm on the paid community, let's just say 2. And member needs check-in, they're probably cold, so let's go to 1, 1, 1. The community profile link, you're going to have to add this manually. So when you set up a Zap, especially with Skool, you can't automatically push in the profile link, and then the email will automatically add that with the Zap, and then you'll assign whoever is supposed to be following up with these people. So I'm just going to assign myself here to all these people. Now let's set some follow-up dates here. Okay, so this one we're a little bit overdue on. So let's do a couple that we're overdue on. This one's going to be today. This one's going to be overdue. It's also overdue. These people do not have follow-up dates. And let's do one that's today. All right, so now we have all of this stuff set. Now let's act like I'm logging into the system and I'm going to start managing the process. So the first thing that I would do is I would log in, I'd go to the overdue. So these are people that I was supposed to follow up with in the past, but something happened and I didn't follow up with them, but I still need to follow up with these folks. So I'm going to take care of that first thing. So what I would do is I would come over here, I would go to these people's profile link, and then I would look at the previous messages and I would send an appropriate message. So let's look at this. So they're a free community person, they're cold, and they're at level 1. So probably what I want to do with this person is just try to get them engaged. So sent a message sending them the post to introduce themselves to get points. So this one's not super pressing, so I'm going to just follow up with this person in, let's say, next week, and if they haven't done their intro message, I might delete them because they're just not engaged. Now we'd go to the next person, go to their profile link, and then I would look at their free community and they're warm, and so this person, maybe I'm going to just send a check-in for this person, send them some value. So sent new resource on community management. Okay, so we're just checking in, adding value, and then once I've sent that message or that added that note, I can just follow up with this person. Maybe we just want to do that again next week. Now this is a hot person and they are at level 5. They have been crushing it in the community, and so I want to invite this person to book a call to try to sell them into the paid community. So what I would do is go to this person's profile. I would just send an appropriate message. Sent message to book call to upgrade to paid membership. So I'm going to send them a message to book a call. Now, since this is a hot one, send them a message to book a call. I want to follow up just in tomorrow maybe. Now these are people in the paid community. They're warm. I probably just want to send a check-in. So again, I'd go to this person's profile. I'd make a note here. Sent check-in, told them about what we're doing on coaching call tomorrow. And I'd probably just actually send both of these guys the same thing. They're kind of the same level. So I'm just going to add that note to this person too. And I'm going to send both of these people the same message. So I'm going to change that follow-up to just following up with these people next week. Now I move on to the due today. So let's take a look at these folks. So this is a warm person. They're in the free community. So maybe again, I'm just going to send them go to their profile. I'm going to send this person a resource. So I'm going to go 7-2 sent new resource and check in on progress. Any of these conversations can turn into a phone call to try to get them on a book call to upgrade them into a paid membership or even a high ticket offer. So once I send this message, this is not super pressing, so I'm just going to do this again next week. So this is, again, a hot one. They're crushing it in the community. I'm going to send this person a message to try to get them on a call. 7-2 sent message to book call. Since I'm trying to book a call with this person, I'm going to follow up with them in a couple of days, and now we've got them out of due today. So this one's in the paid community. This one is a member needs check-in. So this is somebody that is not showing up to the coaching calls. They're paying a monthly subscription, but we want to avoid them churning. So it's much harder to convert a new paid community member than it is to keep one. So we want to do everything we can to keep this person from churning. So what I want to do is I want to reach out to this person, see if we can get them on a call, get them back engaged in the community, and make sure we are taking care of this person. So sent message to book call to check in and see what we need to do to retain. We're trying to book a call. I'm going to follow up with them in a couple of days, and then they'll pop back in here whenever they're due. Now let's look at the in jeopardy. So these are people that don't have a follow-up date, are not showing up. This one's not showing up for the coaching calls. They're not unhappy necessarily. They're just not showing up for the coaching calls. This person's unhappy, but I want to book a call with both of these people so that I can assure or try to do everything I can to keep these people from churning. So I'd go to their profile link, sent message to book call to retain. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this message and then basically say the same thing. And maybe I'd say red alert, do what you can to retain. Maybe you've got a process around that. Okay, so now I've basically sent those folks a message and I want to change the follow-up date. So both of these guys or gals I'm trying to book a call with. So I'm going to follow up on Thursday for both of these. And then when Thursday comes around, they're going to pop into the due today. Now, once I've gone through these three, then I can start reaching out to some of my hot members. I don't have any in here right now, but let's just say I had a bunch of hot people in here. I just want to check in with them add some value. Maybe if the conversation kind of goes in a direction of a phone call, try to get those people on a phone call. And that's kind of my daily process of just going through the people that are overdue, due today, in jeopardy, or the hot members. Then if you kind of go through all of those people and you want to still do some outreach, you've got some time left, you could start going through the free and paid members and start looking for the people that you don't have a follow-up date, that maybe you're at level 1 and you want to re-engage those people and try to get them re-engaged. And if they don't re-engage, then you can continue to follow up with them and eventually remove them from the community if they're just kind of lurking around and not doing anything. Same thing with paid members. You probably don't want to kick them out, but can we do anything to get those people back engaged, to get them on the coaching calls, that kind of thing. And so that's how I would go through this process on a daily basis to make sure that I'm staying on top of my outreach, to do everything I can to ascend the free members into the paid community and then keep the paid community happy and retained. All right, so now what we're going to do is we are going to connect your community with the Airtable base that we just built out, so that when somebody joins your community, they are automatically pushed into that Airtable and you can manage the outreach to that particular member. To do this, we're going to demo with Skool because that's where my community is, and we're going to be using a tool called Zapier. So Zapier is a third-party integration tool that allows you to connect two pieces of software together so that they can send data back and forth to each other. And so that's how we're going to automatically push new members when they join your community into your Airtable base so you can manage that outreach. Also, by the way, if you want the Airtable that we just built and you want the Zaps that we're about to build right now, I'll drop a link into the description so you can actually join our community and you can get access to the Airtable base that you can copy, and also you can get the templates for the Zaps that we're about to build. Let's go ahead and build this Zap. What we're going to do is we are going to click on the Create button here. First, add the trigger. So what is going to be the trigger that gets people into this automation? So I'm going to click on Trigger, type in Skool, select the event's going to be, if they are joining a free membership, it's going to be answered membership questions. If they're joining a paid membership, it's going to be new paid member. We're going to go with the free membership, and then I'm going to click continue, and then I'm going to add my Skool account. If this is the first time I was ever doing this, I would click on the create new account or connect new account. And then we need two things. We need the URL of your group and we need the API key. So I'm going to go to my group. I'm going to grab the last part of the URL here, and then we're going to go back to that pop-up and we're going to paste that in. To get the API key, I would go into my group. I would go to settings. I would go to plugins and then Zapier integration. And you can click this little blue link that says generate API key, and then you can copy it. I'm not going to do that because I've already got mine hooked up, but let me go ahead and close this pop-up here. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to select my account that's already hooked up, and then we're going to click continue. And then we can test the trigger to bring in some data so that we can test that everything's working. I'm going to select this first one here. The action is going to be Airtable. So we're going to push the information into Airtable. The event is going to be create or update record. And then we're going to click continue. And we're going to select our account. I'm going to click choose here, and then I'm going to click connect new account. And then we're going to select the base that we just built in Airtable. So I'm going to click this add base. I'm going to scroll to the bottom here and select our Skool CRM. And then we're going to click continue. And then we're going to select the base, which is the Skool CRM. We're going to select the table, which is also Skool CRM. The lookup field is going to be our email. In our community OS, we're tracking way more than what I'm showing you here. So we're tracking everything from when somebody becomes a lead, free membership, paid membership, and ultimately client. If we already have that lead in the system and they have just basically turned from a lead to a free member, we just want to update that record. We don't want to create a duplicate record. So the way that we can find that record is by looking up the email, and then just, if the email is in the system, just updating that record that's in there from lead to free membership. We want to start to populate the data. So we're going to enter the name here. We're going to select first name, and then we're going to hit a space bar and then last name. And then the date added. So this is the date added to the free community. So we're just going to scroll down from the first step and select the date. We're not going to set a follow-up date. The prospect stage is going to be free community. And you want to make sure that you type this in the way that it's exactly in your Airtable. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to create another selection. So make sure that it's exactly the same way that you've gotten it in your Airtable base. Temperature, actually let's just say warm because they did join the community, so they're warmer than cold. Level, they're going to be 1. And then community profile, as you can see, we can't really bring in the profile. We've got the unique ID, but not the profile. And then the email address we can populate from step 1, and then the assignee will just assign that person once they get the record into Airtable. So I'm going to click continue, and then we're going to test the step. That says it goes through. We can actually go to Airtable, can go to all data and fields, and you can see that that record was just pushed in there. We've got our automation set up so that when somebody joins our Skool community, they're automatically pushed into the system. And now we've got a CRM that we can really use to stay on top of our outreach with our members, book calls with those people, ascend them into up our value ladder. So again, if you want this Airtable base, if you want these apps to automate the process of sending your members once they join the membership into the Airtable so that you can manage the outreach, then I'll drop a link to our paid community in the descriptions, and you can get access to the Airtable and the automations. If you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you in the next one.